biological father, your dad, or is it that man you call your pastor, that man you've known all these years in your local church who has pastored you, who's been guiding you and praying for you? Is he the one who's got the final say? Now, we got a letter which we want to look at this morning in connection with this very topic or this very question that we are asking this morning. I'm going to get straight into it because we don't want to waste any more time. And it says, Dear TV3 New Day, I am in my late 30s and have finally found a man who wants to marry me. I told my pastor, who has been a father to me from the age of 13, about it, and he told me he was going to pray. Fortunately for me, he says we have his blessings to go on with the marriage. As early as 13 years, my father stopped taking care of me because he had issues with my mother, which led to a divorce. However, out of respect for my biological father, I decided to show the man I am about to marry, and I informed him about our marriage. I think that was the biggest mistake of my life. My biological father says he's not going to give me his blessing if I decide to marry this particular man. But the thing is, my pastor has already given me his blessings anyway. And the big question for this morning, this young lady in her 30s is asking, is that what should she do? And that's the question I asked earlier before I read the text, that who has the final say on who you should marry? Should it be your biological father, or maybe an uncle who took care of you, who you can also call father since he's the one who took care of you? Or is it your spiritual father, that spiritual figure in your life? Many of us call people spiritual fathers. I've heard it many times, especially on Father's Day, which we celebrated just a few weeks ago. Many people celebrated not just their biological fathers, but their spiritual fathers as well. Let's get into the discussion and know which exact direction this young lady should take this morning. Joining me is Counselor George Castenson Lutrot. He is a marriage counselor, and Pastor Salasi Adai, head pastor, Apostolic Empowerment Ministries. He's been here a number of times. His face is not new anymore. Gentlemen, good morning.
Good morning.
Ofanama. I am really, really well. Uncle George.
Yeah.
What I see some, I'm not aware.
No, I'm going to give it to you.
What is it?
Oh, take it.
What is it?
This is what I make my money out of.
Oh, so you make this?
Yes, that's why
ginger honey chips.
Try
what is it supposed to do? Like clear my throat?
It clears out. Those of you talking,
right?
Just do it.
This is good for us.
High zinc,
okay.
And this is well prepared.
Right.
You can put it in cocoa and drink. Okay. Even tea. I mean, this is meant for the kotoko losers, actually. Ukuma prima ginger beba more. Would be good next time over share class of food.
Fantastic.
Ghana and I had the same.
Good to have you this morning.
Charlie, thank you very much. And let me take opportunity here and say congratulations to the minister, Greater Accra minister. I think we are not saying this to, if Nana Akufo-Addo, His Excellency the President, remove this man today, he's made history.
Right.
It's not that we are happy for, he's done what everybody decides not to do. And I think that when the president said he wants to change Accra, he wanted to do it in his last term. And the right person he's brought now. And the Garland, we are supporting this man spiritually, physically, and everything. So we are praying for him. And we say congratulations to him and all the people support and the president.
Okay.
Because we had those days that when you are doing all, then a bigger man will give a phone call.
Uncle George.
So congratulations to him.
We've talked about all of that extensively this morning. I'm sorry to bust your bubble, but let's just get to the matter of the day because unfortunately there isn't too much time. Yeah, can you know
man timpo me that's it.
So on TV or in interpretation.
Anyway,
Pastor Salasi, there's a letter we have this morning. We need to address this young lady, and this story is super familiar, and I know many people out there can identify with this story. It's happened to me before. It has. This is my story right there. I didn't write this one, but this is my story. Some time ago, it happened. And why are you looking at me funny? You don't really know anything about me.
I have not. Yes, you've not told me this story. Attempting to marry you.
Yeah. Why?
Was it recent or before?
What does that matter? It doesn't matter. But anyway, Pastor Salasi, you've pastored this lady ever since she was 13. So she sees you as a father figure in her life. And obviously, her father has been absent for all these years. And well, it's the part about you want to go and pray about it that I want to ask now. Does prayer really approve or disapprove of the person you want to marry? Does it really, really work if you want to
Okay.
marry somebody?
Okay. It's a very, very deep question, but my answer is simple. I think that we make our choice. Our choice must reflect the choice of God. When I say it must reflect the choice of God, there must be certain things based on a Christian that must be your guideline. But people have prayed, and at the end, they were sure that this is the right path, and it failed. So for me, it is not necessarily that prayer is helping me make the right decision.
Say that again. So what? People have trusted God, fasted and prayed, and then at the end of the day, it turned out that this wasn't
because
even the partner.
this has been my point over the
Right.
years.
Okay.
People use God. I hide behind I speak in tongues. I hide behind I'm a Christian. And I don't want to develop myself for myself so that I can benefit my partner. It won't work. So God did not create us as robots. From my home to from wherever I stay, coming here with counselor, God did not just pick counselor and throw counselor. Counselor come and be on the set. Counselor was responsible, and that is the problem of the church today. There is no sense of true responsibility and attitude building and character building. No character development. So we let everything hide behind prayer. No, if it's only about prayer, trust me, every Christian relationship should work.
Counselor, what do you make of this?
Well, in the first place, no prayer point in this world can give you a husband or a wife.
Okay.
Anybody that receives a prophetic marriage will die prophetically in the marriage.
Meaning, if you go to church and the pastor
Somebody
says,
tells
"Oh,
you, yeah,
okay,
this is your
I
wife."
see that Kwamina entry
He's
is
a
your
very
husband."
he's a very wicked man of God. Actually, he's a
You mean those words
Satan-oriented
are not from God?
marriage. There's nothing called church marriage. The church has no marriage. The examples in the biblical perspective about marriages, it is just to depict unionization and for us to find a common ground to understand things.
Okay.
But there's nothing called Christian marriage. So the church doesn't have a marriage. The focus of us as men of God is to raise women and men who have focused that there is a place called heaven.
No, but Uncle George,
not marriage.
Uncle George, wait. If the church doesn't have did you say the church doesn't have marriage?
We don't have marriage.
But the pastors in the churches are recognized by the government as people who can officiate and bless marriage.
No. There's nothing called bless.
So then why do you people bless the
Now
marriage
listen to this cookie.
when vows are exchanged? Because I know that the government mandates pastors to be able to bless and officiate marriages.
You're still using the wrong word.
So what's the word?
We are only gazetted.
But you bless it.
No, the blessing is because
when you tell me you may kiss the bride.
Cookie.
Yes.
Now watch this.
Okay.
Blessing you are calling is not from any pastor. No pastor has blessed any marriage for it to work. The blessing of marriage is from father and mother, especially father. I'll come there.
Okay.
The law is mandating me under Cap 127 that what a judge is doing at AMA, TMA, KMA, I'm doing the same thing. That is why I am not needed in your divorce. The certificate I give you is called value book. I have no say in that. This is it. The registered man must be gazetted or registered. The premises must be gazetted. So anybody who has gone through the situational whatever and is qualified as a gazetted man of God can officiate your marriage. The additions is according to your core belief. So you believe that my crowd or cloud of witnesses are in the church. So let me have the marriage in this premises. Me, God bless you and make you fruitful. Doesn't happen on your day of marriage. Okay. I am your pastor and I've been teaching you why God wants you in heaven. Righteousness is not for a good marriage. So you think when you keep your virginity, God is going to prepare you a virgin to marry. My foot. The church uses virgins, but we don't raise virgins. God charity doesn't begin in the church. It begins at home. So pastors, we have our role. Our role is that we have fortunately been gazetted by government to do this work. And we even have the right to charge a fee for doing that activity because it's not part of our calling. But government have recognized because we have been ordained. And he says, once you are ordained and you are following the particular people, go through these particular things and let me train you so that we can extend our hand for the venue and the person. Okay. So it doesn't make me a spiritual person that my presence will add up anything to your marriage.
Mandated by government to be able to.
So that's what we are doing. So the church doesn't have marriage. So stop and our Christian warrior and our church. There's nothing like. There are only 3 marriages in Ghana, and that is the Mohammedan marriage, the traditional marriage, or what you call the customary marriage, and the civil marriage. That's all. None of that. There's nothing called church marriage.
Selassie, do you want to?
So Pastor, that.
Okay, no. So I think that exactly what Councillor Tra said. We officiate marriages, but the point is that this is a question I've always asked. Those days when our parents didn't take their marriages to church, they have lived for 70 years, 80 years, 90 years. So I think that we must redefine our role as a church. What really is our role? Like I said, I'm building somebody. Somebody being a good husband, it doesn't happen one day. Somebody being a good wife doesn't happen one day. It's not on the day of the wedding that I'll come and preach a good sermon and I'll come and bless them and then suddenly the marriage works. No. What we have to do is that we have to make sure that we are building them up so that they become mature people. Trust me, what is missing in marriage today is maturity. So for we are privileged today that we have been put in that category that we can help them, we can guide them, and also we can officiate it.
Okay. But Selassie,
sorry, but let me add this. Are you aware that more than 98% of marriages now are not working? It's because of pastors.
Yeah. Because of what?
Pastors, yes.
Well, the part that they are not working, I'm aware, but I don't
know.
No,
I'm saying that 98% of marriages that are not working are caused by pastors.
We are the cause. About that research.
I'm telling you, I did it. I did this thing. I think I did this thing for a project.
Was it a survey that you
yes, I did. Because that was 2010 and 2012, and it has not changed.
98%.
Because everybody you speak to, when they have challenges in their relationship, the first person they will talk to is the pastor. And the pastor says, pray. When a man has beaten you, that you're supposed to report him to the nearby police station, they say, pray. When you die, then he said, catch him now. So, nonsense.
This is a beautiful point, and I want to ask something. I've been counseling a lot of people, and this is a point I've said openly in a lot of places, and some find it controversial. Cookie, when 10 people bring marital problems to you, and as a pastor, I want to pray. Trust me, only 2 words. This is what I tell people. Say, in most of the time, because at the end of enyam paibono, nipanam enyen adin say me sana minikuki awariana ye. So, and like I said, God can do everything. God doesn't do everything.
So if I'm dating a young man or if I'm dating a woman and I've seen some traits that I don't like, are you telling me that I cannot go to God to pray to God and tell him, say, you know what? Percy drinks too much.
Okay.
I want Percy to stop drinking before I get married to Percy.
Okay. So
God won't listen.
It's not about God. A prerogative of God is whether he decides to listen or not. And this is what you see. Cookie, prayer goes beyond God giving us what we want.
Okay.
Otherwise, those people who don't pray don't deserve to get anything.
Anything at all.
Prayer
is those who prosper the most.
Exactly. Prayer is a relationship. And in building that relationship, it's one of the ways I can place my needs. You know that most powerful prayer, give me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change. They are things that I know when you pray. So let's build this and let's build a society and let them know that it is not every prayer that I'll pray now, and even God will say yes. So maybe God knows that person, he cannot change. I was speaking to a lady recently, and he was telling me about a guy in his life, and the reason why he cannot go ahead and marry the guy loves the girl is carrying everything. Said, Osofo, the guy is so much addicted to alcohol to a point, and he has prayed. They've known each other for 12 years old. So it buttress the point that I have seen so many times that some of the things, by the time the person says the thing, recently a very high divorce case in this country came to me, very high profile people. And I told them that, listen, the pastors praying for them. The first day they came to me, I told them that only the marriage won't work. You go your separate ways. This is what's going to happen. You go to court, take what you take, And in fact, it has happened now. But they have spent the last 4 months, pastors praying. Papa na not drink. It's not that God doesn't listen to prayers. The young man had made his mind that I don't need the woman again in my
So
life.
can't you pray for the Holy Spirit to convict the man?
That's what I'm saying. That
you can't do that as a Christian.
The point is that we don't determine, and this one thing Christians, it is God that determines. Why is it that somebody, there are things we have been praying about, and God decides when I want to answer it?
But must we fault this young lady here? It's not her fault that her dad has
so
been
maybe
absent.
Now we come into the
it's
case
not her
proper.
fault that her dad has been absent. She had nothing to do with it. Growing up from the age of 13, her dad has been totally absent. Now, she had nobody to run to but this pastor who's become a father figure in her life. Was she wrong to have even gone to the pastor in the first place to say that, hey, I found a man that I want to marry?
All right. She's very, very wrong. And this is to caution all the young coming boys and girls in the church that the church has a big mistake and we are following it. When things are wrong and you get to know it's wrong, we correct them. You hear an announcement in church. So from now till the end of the year, we have 8 months for marriage class. If you are here and anybody promises you or tells you they want to marry you, see Pastor Kobe and he will write your name for counseling. Now, the first place is that when a man decides to marry you, the first person you tell is not your pastor.
But my dad, I don't even know what he is. How do I tell him?
Anytime, any child who doesn't know where the father is, the mother is a witch. If your mother doesn't know who impregnated her.
No, that's not what we're saying. This time around, she knows.
You say, I don't know where that's what I'm trying to correct.
I don't know where my dad
so I'm saying that any child who
I'm speaking for the many women out there who really and truly
my sister,
do not even know where their
my
father
sister,
is.
when when your mother doesn't know where your father is, she is a witch and wicked. No, I mean when the bushoni be any assessment in the scene.
Well, oh, you know, you know, be answering and
then your mother is a wicked woman that should have not lived on earth.
What has she done wrong?
When a woman doesn't know the man who impregnated her.
No, but that's not what we are saying.
Can I land, Cookie? The challenges we have is because people are hurting based on wrong mentality. A woman gets pregnant not by airborne disease, through sexual intercourse. Then because the man is not ready or some issues come, they allow the child to have some begrudge the father. So you meet a child who doesn't know the location of the father, but the mother knows. So if you're not able to show the child who the father is and you die, you are wicked. As useless as the man is, you give the person in to have sexual intercourse with you. If it's rape, I know that one is another issue. But once you agree and it goes on for you and you didn't protect yourself, let the child know who the father is.
Why are you not pointing out that the man has been irresponsible? They just
there is no irresponsible man on earth. Can I finish?
Yes, please.
When I finish, you understand.
There's no who?
There is no irresponsible man on earth. An irresponsible man is a man who cannot deposit a semen in a woman's ovaries to make her pregnant.
As he's been able to impregnate
because fatherhood is not feeding with cocoa.
Okay, so
fatherhood is depositing a semen to become a being.
So you're establishing the fact that so long as he's been able to impregnate a woman,
that makes him responsible. The next thing is that, so if you want to get married and you say, this is my pastor, scripture that you read says, Genesis, Ephesians chapter 6, it says, children, first one, obey your parents in the Lord, for this is right. Then look at the next stage. It says, honor your father and your mother.
So that your days
this is so long life, prosperity is not in the hands of a pastor.
Yeah.
So you only obey them, but you honor.
But you are not allowing me to ask my question.
No, I was answering the first one you asked.
I cannot use the word irresponsible to describe this father who has been absent. What word?
No, and I'm saying father. It's not a irresponsible father.
Okay.
If you're absent, doesn't mean I'm not real. I'm there.
Hold on a second, Uncle George.
Yes, madam.
He hasn't been present in the life of this lady because
in what way?
Of the divorce that happened between him and the mother.
Uh-huh.
What has prevented him from being there for this woman?
Let me tell you, the stories we face in our consulting one times, they are so wicked that you ask women, why do you do this? A woman walked like, you are my daughter and this is my wife. Then I walk, you go tell the father. Wouldn't say akrana media chawa sumsan enyawa. So behind your mother goes to tell your father that you are not the daughter. Then your mother comes to tell you on pewasem.
Okay, but
So can I finish?
Yes,
You ask a question. No, let me. If I don't learn and I leave it peace, that becomes confusing. So allow me to flow there, Melody. So once you think that the man is not even coming into the life of the child, you have more than 87% of men that the women have the reason why they're not coming back into the life of the child. We're not justifying it, but I'm saying that let the child know who the father is, and let's see what the father will not be. Because some women have told some men that there are so many things women are using pain to do. This girl should know that the pastor doesn't have rights to marry her. So your first point of call when people propose that they want to marry you is your father, not your pastor, because just obey your father and honor your mother and father.
So I think that 2 points must be drawn here, which are for me are very important, because one of the things we do here is to educate. I think that it's very important we realize that as much as certain women prevent, after divorce or even because of some challenges, they prevent them children from getting access to their parents and the father, which is wrong. I think that we don't have to sit here and just say that the fact that somebody gives birth, there are people who have had the chance and they didn't take care of the child.
Uncle George,
That's
the point I wanted to get to.
What chance? What do you call chance?
You're saying that you can't call those people irresponsible.
Who have the opportunity, even the women have to beg.
They didn't do it.
Have to beg. Okay, let me give you an example.
Yes, give me an example. Yes.
This one is not, I will never say anything on live television, and maybe the person I'm even talking about is watching.
Yes.
This is a man who was, funny enough, and
big error, Yanko.
He has never, he doesn't take, for some reason, I don't know.
The reason is that he needs a male child. He needs a male child. That's the reason.
Oh, thank you. Maybe you have the reason.
That's the reason. Who never bear man? We are saying about you say.
It's in running the warrior. And you'll be full from and a as father. On one case, the last one be a year 2 years ago, no, or by an otiache, and Obi for and the representing as father.
Okay. Can I say something?
Yes, the father is there. He's present.
Uncle George and Pastor Selassie, please make Pamucho. It's rather unfortunate that we cannot finish this today. Can we continue?
Yes.
Can we continue next week? Yes. Because this must be discussed and we have to get to the bottom of it. It's an issue that many people are facing out there. So,
just 0.5 seconds.
Okay.
Before next week, somebody might be watching right now that is going through the same challenge. Okay. For me, I'm responsible for my comment and my statement. Pastor Snadja didn't for too much. Who person you are will be 0277 609 644. My daddy, 0277 609 644.
All right.
Listen to your father.
We will continue this discussion definitely next week. Thank you for staying with us. Miss G is coming with some entertainment. Pastor Selassie, Uncle George, thank you very much.
Thank you for having us.
This is still TV3 New Day. Uncle George.
Yeah, he's irresponsible. Sure, we don't need me responsible father.